Of F2m, The Boy Within, by Hazel, Ryan Kennedy, and published by Ford Street Publishing in Australia. This is the first New Zealand launch tonight. It's a very exciting book, staunch issues and excellent writing. I just know you're going to love it.
I just want to start first of all by acknowledging Unity Books and what a precious treasure this shop and the staff are to Wellington and to New Zealand. In a moment I'll be introducing Ryan. Some of you know, and it's not a secret, that I was Ryan's counsellor. I suspect there might be a little bit of me in the book. You can read and find that out. And it's been a huge privilege to have worked with this extraordinary man, to have watched the journey. And I know from my own journey how hard it is when there isn't a roadmap. And Ryan sits there with a small group of men who have carved through the forest a path and made it so much easier for those who follow. And this book will sit in the shelves of school libraries, and it will make it so much easier for other young trans people, because this book's not going to be useful just for trans men. This will be a tool also for transgender women and for all of us who don't fit, who are a bit queer and trying to work out how we find our voice and how we make those connections with families and how we get that place we can stand and say, this is who I am, and feel okay and proud of it.
Inga mana, inga reo, inga iwi o te motu, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora Māori, it's fabulous to see you again. One of the things that we learned and promoted through the New Zealand AIDS Foundation was the absolutely strong message that human rights are absolutely central to health outcomes. One of the themes of f2m for me is around the importance of, I guess, acknowledging the human rights of transgendered people, and the importance of doing so, in fact, to promote the health of transgendered people. So that is an incredibly important message. Some years ago, I spent my teenage years in Hamilton, at Hamilton Boys High. And some years ago, would be probably the 1990s, I was back in Hamilton supporting a colleague who was doing some research in Hamilton. And we were at the Hamilton Public Library, and I was waiting around while my friend was doing whatever research it was he was doing. And I found myself on the mezzanine floor in a kind of corner area where all of the gay books happened to be. And I had this most amazing experience. I had this flashback experience that a whole section of my youth I had blotted out and blacked out, because I had this deja vu experience of standing in that place, in that library, as a teenager, and finding in that place, in those books, the support that I needed as a young gay man that I was not finding anywhere else. And I want to talk in closing about the power of books, the power of literature, the power of the written word to reach out across time and across space, and to reach the people who are in the hardest places and the loneliest places, and people who feel alone. Eleanor Roosevelt in 1939 spoke about her long campaign that resulted eventually in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. She said this: Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places, close to home. Places so small and so close that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person. The neighbourhood he lives in, language is a bit kind of interesting, isn't it, on a transgendered evening? The school or college he attends, the factory, farm or office where he works. These are the places where every man, woman and child seeks equal justice, equal dignity and equal opportunity without discrimination. And I want to celebrate the achievement of Ryan's and Hazel's in making that vision more real for so many people tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to be electronically present. I've listened with fascination to the issues that have been mentioned, and I'd like to pay tribute to you too. I think independent bookshops are so important. I've known Ryan since he was an 11-year-old as a family friend, but in the last 2 years we've known each other extremely well on Skype, and I'd have to say that I've had to learn 3 new languages: gender, punk and technology. And Ryan will be very kind probably explaining the faux pas I've made when we've operated on Skype, when we have a character called Sky and my typing is less than perfect. So we've managed together extremely well. I think that this is the most important book I've been involved in, and this is my 200th book. It's Ryan's first, and I don't think it will be his last. I think it's a book for mainstream readers about coping successfully with being different, and that's a theme that I've had throughout all of my books. Our book is fiction. I must mention to those who feel themselves portrayed in it, it is fiction, but we've had it listed already as autobiography, biography, health and history. So I'm amazed at where we may finish up. We took a lot of trouble getting the title right on this book, and I hope that it really does work. But it is a very, very important book, and I would like to pay tribute to my co-writer, because Ryan and I separately couldn't have written this book. It was really an equal arrangement. I'm very grateful to him. He says we did 60 drafts and 20 went in the ditch between New Zealand and Australia. I'm not sure of that, but we did a lot of them. And he's been remarkably patient with me, and I would like to pay credit to him as a collaborator. I think he's a fine writer, and he's going to write many more books, I hope. But we hope also that f2m will go into new formats. We've been intrigued by the take-up by young adult bloggers on this title, and the speed at which it has been reviewed from Argentina to, where else have we had it, all over the place. And I would like to see it go into other formats as well, preferably audio. I don't know whether we'll ever make a film. We may indeed, but I would like to pay credit to all those who indirectly or directly contributed to this book, and thank you for allowing me to be present. We are all very grateful that all the connections worked, and I'd like to raise a virtual glass of champagne to all of you, because the readers are the most important people in the creation of a book, and to my co-writer. Thank you.
Instead of floundering about, I think I'll just stick to my speech there. So when I decided to transition in 2003, at the age of 27, I'd known it was possible that that was something that I could do for several months, but it wasn't until I started reading the online journals of other guys who'd gone through the process and reading their stories that I really had the aha moment myself, and I realised that it was something that I could do. So it's my sincere hope that this book could be the aha moment for other guys out there, for when they really decide this is something that they could do. In early transition, I had great support from local trans guys and online support from other guys I've met on the internet, and some overseas who I've yet to meet in person, and some who I'll probably never meet. And these connections were really vital to surviving the process. And I'm glad to be able to offer this story that they essentially helped create. And so I'd like to thank them for their support, and some of them are here tonight, so you know who you are. Thank you very much. When I look back on my experience of transition, I remember how I had nothing tangible to give people that really described what the transition process is like. The book Stone Butch Blues by Leslie Feinberg was a catalyst for me. It was really important, but it wasn't the right resource to give friends and family. It's great. They needed more specific information about what I was going through and how they could help me. And I also felt that we needed more authentic and positive stories out there without being the tell-all exposés that some people crave. Our stories don't need to be sensationalised to have impact and to foster compassion towards us. So this is the successful collaboration of the work of 2 lifetimes, Hazel's writing career spanning many years and many books published, and my lifetime first as living as a gender I'm not, and then my experience of transition to living as the gender that I am. The end result is a fictional story that I hope you'll find entertaining, and I hope you'll have as much fun reading it as we did writing it. And I intend to keep writing. I can't promise that every main character will be transgender. I have to break out of that sometime. But my writing will always be from a transgender perspective. So, thank you all.
For all the DLOs. Yeah, for all the DLOs. It's a resource for all the DLOs.